Hey, what's up guys? This is Anthony from Anthony's Customs, and for this review, we are looking at the DLX Mega Man XX. And it's the newest Mega Man figure from a really good company. As of late, they've been putting out a really good lineup of products for the Transformers specifically, but other things too. And their previous Mega Man figure came out not that long ago. That's this guy right here. We'll talk about him in a second. He was pretty good. They're not perfect figures, but they're relatively inexpensive. The original Mega Man was, I think, 40 bucks, and I think this guy was listed at 45, and now he's like 50 or something like that. I'll put a link in the description below if you want to check it out. But is it good enough for the price? Absolutely, for sure, without a doubt, 100%. I'll get that out of the way now. But this is a review, so we're going to talk about all the good and the bad, and there are some issues with this figure, so I'm going to mention all of them so you know what you're getting into before you buy it. So let's go ahead and get him off the stand and take a closer look. Alright, now before we get into the review, I do want to show you my package. It is a very nice package. I like the window. A lot of cardboard compared to window, but still pretty good looking, and that's alright. And this is the exclusive version, so it comes with the thing that goes on the forehead, but otherwise it is the exact same figure. And I don't even think they changed the box other than that sticker. I'm pretty sure it's the same. I have both versions. I didn't look at the other one that close, but it has to just be the sticker, so that makes sense. But yeah, good packaging. Easily displayable if you wanted to, although all these DLX packages are going to be different sizes, so or MDLX, I mean. Maybe the Mega Man ones are all the same at least, so there's that. Okay, so this guy, like I said, he is in stock at Big Bad Toy Store, so I'll put a link in the description below if you want to get one. He stands just about 5 inches. That's going to make him roughly, call it 13 centimeters. Here he is up against the Marvel Legends Darwin. So, I don't know, I think you could make a case for it being perfectly fine for scale purposes if you wanted to mix him into like an MVC. Which one was it? Was it Infinite that X was the... It wasn't always X, right? In Marvel vs. Capcom, it was regular Mega Man and then it turned into X later. I'm not sure, either way. Fits well enough. Now, let's do a couple comparisons just so that you have an idea. Here he is up against his buddy from the same brand. And I still think this guy's way too purple. That blue is not blue enough. And I know it's not supposed to be exactly the same as X here, but I think X looks way better as a result. But here he is up against the D-Arts one, which is nice and metallic. Definitely a different style. And I want to talk about that briefly. So the D-Arts one is taller and a little bit lankier. The 4-inch Nell one, which I don't have anymore, guys. I sold those off when they skyrocketed in price because I needed money. But I wish I still had them because that was the chunkier look. So the thing about Mega Man and all subsequent Mega Man games is there's a lot of different versions of the character. Some are lankier, some are taller, some are slender, some are short and slender, like some are chunky. There's all kinds of different versions. Neither of these is the chunkier version. So if you're looking for that, you're out of luck. This guy's probably somewhere in between the lankiest and the shortest, and maybe it matches one specific version. I don't know. I didn't check every single game and all the artwork, but it's somewhere in between. This is definitely the tallest and probably the most stretched out, but it is a really good figure. I have reviewed it. I have reviewed the Nell one too, so if you want to check those out, I'll put those up in the corner or down in the description. But this guy's somewhere in between, both in terms of height. I think the Nell was shorter, I'm not positive, but definitely in terms of the chunkiness. Now his finish, it's just like the other one. It's not as nice as I was hoping, but I do think it's better than this Mega Man. This Mega Man had some weird issues with the paint, especially on the helmet. There's some spots where it's not uniform at all. But yeah, he looks pretty darn good. His blue is pretty shiny, his darker blue. His lighter blue is definitely not. It's a nice matte finish. And then I'd say the gray parts are kind of a satin. It's a nice looking figure overall. It's definitely clean. ThreeZero has no trouble making high quality figures. It's just a matter of if they can get it high quality enough at a lower price point. So I think so far we're looking pretty good. I don't love the split on the helmet being so obvious. And maybe I'll be able to mush that back together, but I haven't had any luck with that so far. I can squeeze it some, but then it kind of fights me, and you still get that pretty severe gap, so it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it is a thing. We do have the gems. Maybe not the best looking. Let's compare him to this guy. His are pretty good. His seam is not great either, but this guy came out forever ago, so, you know, there's something to consider there. But he looks pretty darn nice. The forehead one looks pretty good. These ones don't catch enough light, but yeah, he's good looking. Those look really nice. He's a good looking figure for sure. I like the overall stature. I like it. This is perfectly fine for me. I'm not like super connected to the chunkier one, even though I do like the chunkier look. This is good for me. So I'm going to give this guy an aesthetic rating, not based on personal preference, by the way. I was just adding that. The aesthetic rating is going to be as objective as I can make it, and it is going to be a, I'm going to say 9 out of 10. Really, I don't have any problems with this guy other than that head seam. which I might be able to tighten up a little bit as I mess with the figure. But let's go ahead and talk about the accessories, because that's pretty good. So I already put the buster on his right arm. He doesn't come that way. He comes with the regular forearm on both sides and the fist hands on both sides. So you do get 2 fist hands and the 2 normal forearm pieces. You get 2 open hands to go over the buster, and then you get the buster. Now the good thing about this guy is he doesn't have the yellow part on his buster, so I think it was the MLDX regular Mega Man, who the line was not really in the right place because they put it kind of in the middle to go on either arm. So that was kind of a bummer, but this guy doesn't have that, so you don't have to worry about it. You do have the 2 different faces. They both look really nice. I think I'm very pleased with that. And you get the little buster thingy that clips onto the front of the gun arm for his blast effect, which is awesome. But the cool thing about the blast effect is you can also just take that little thingy off and put a regular green tip on there, and so it doesn't need to be connected to his buster arm. And this is easily one of the best effect parts that I have seen. The way they handled the front end, there's no seams or anything anywhere. That's really, really cool. And there's like a white dome on the inside to give it that depth, and the shading's pretty cool. It could be a little bit more crystally clear, transparent plastic, but it's translucent plastic, but it's still really, really nice looking, and it does come with a display stand to hold it up. Yes, technically it attaches to his forearm, but balancing that is like basically impossible, so you're probably going to want to use the display stand even when it is connected. And then lastly, since this is the exclusive version, we do have the forehead piece, which you just pop out the little gem thingy, and then this goes in place of it. And I'm never going to use that, but it's still a really cool piece to have. I have it upside down right now, I think. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. It looks really, really nice. So if you're just doing a display where you want him in like the hero victory pose, that's going to be a good thing for you. It's very, very nicely executed. The silver paint on there is super shiny, and the transparent, oh my gosh, translucent plastic is very nicely done. So that's a really cool accessory. So yeah, that's a good spread. Even if it is $45 now instead of 40. No, I think even if it's 50, I think he was 45 and now he's 50. I think that's what it is. It's still a pretty darn good figure. And frankly, now I don't normally base this off of third-party or secondhand prices like the D-Arts or the 3 and 4-inch Nell figure. You can't really do better than this. It's not even close. And I wouldn't normally make that case other than this is already a good figure. It's not like I'm justifying a bad one. I don't think, unless you want specific things, I don't think it's worth tracking down the D-Arts or the Nell instead of this. I would just get this. Now, Jada hasn't released their X yet, so we'll see, but so far, this guy is a perfectly good figure. So accessory-wise, I'll go 9 out of 10 again. I think another hand or two would have been really cool, maybe another faceplate, but still a really solid figure. Now, as far as the articulation goes, let's see what we can come up with here. So we do have some ball pegs in the neck. The head moves around pretty well. It actually moves around really nicely. And in some poses, it looks like his neck might be too short, given the design that they've gone with. I'm not sure. It's not bad. I personally think it looks good, but it might be a little bit too short, depending on how you want to pose him, because his neck, to me, looks like he's got the chunkier, shorter stature. But he doesn't have that. So it's a little bit of a mixed up design philosophy, I think. But it's a tiny, tiny issue, so I really wouldn't worry about it. Like, that still looks really nice. And frankly, if his lower legs weren't as tall as they are, he would be a lot closer to that chunkier, shorter stature. They made these really long. I probably should have talked about that a little bit more in the aesthetic, but it still looks pretty good. Like, if you just look at this, he doesn't have a super stretched out body. Anyway, for the shoulders, there's a butterfly joint in there that has a little bit of vertical range, but then it mostly has just the horizontal range. It doesn't have a ton, but it does pop out there, and that's useful. And a ton of people were commenting on my earlier videos when I hadn't reviewed this guy yet, saying the shoulder pads pop off too much. And they definitely do. They are a nuisance. They slide down on that little slot right there. They have like a little tab that just slides down, and they have no reason to pop off. Like, they're not gonna be in the way of the articulation. The way this guy works, they touch, but it's not like they need to slide. There's no benefit to them sliding up and down. So at your own risk, you could glue them, and they wouldn't be a problem. They don't bother me that much. I knocked them off at first, but now that I know that it's a problem, I can pose this guy pretty easily without him being a problem. They don't pop off. They still have to slide. So it's not much of a slide, but it is a slide. So I don't think they're going to be that much of a nuisance. But the butterfly does work a little bit. The arm does go up, no problem. So yeah, I think it works pretty well. And of course, you're going to get your full rotation in there. That's fine, no problem at all. Bicep swivel is in there. Double jointed elbow. You get one joint here and one joint inside, and it works. Like, as much as you can get him to bend his elbow, given that he has armor and stuff, it works. So that's fine. You shouldn't have any trouble posing. You can rotate the forearm. Obviously, they just have a peg. Well, I guess it's not obvious. There's just a straight round peg to swap out the forearm with the buster, so that affords that rotation there. That's cool. And the wrists are on ball pegs, and they work well enough, given that they're seated inside these giant trumpets of forearms. Now his torso, it's not the best. It's definitely good enough. It's just, I say it's not the best because he's got a really tubular torso and you could probably get more out of it if you tried really hard. Well, there's that. They didn't try super hard. So I don't understand, like, you could definitely cut that peg off. You see that tab on the back and the way the socket is cut out? I don't understand what they're doing there exactly. At first I thought it was to allow better range, but that tab prevents it from having better range. So I don't get what they're doing. I think they've overcomplicated that double ball peg, but he still does pose around pretty well even without modifying it, so I'm not super worried about it. You'll get your rotation mostly at the bottom there. It's fine. Like I said, these aren't like super high-end figures. They're just kind of high-end for the price point, and I think they're perfectly fine. Now his hips are kind of annoying. I can't quite see inside to tell what's going on. I thought they were going to be metal. They don't quite look like it, but they might just be really dull metal. Maybe that's the case. It's hard to say, and you're not going to be able to see in there probably. Well, maybe. Maybe not. I don't know. Kinda. Weird. Anyway, he can do the splits. In terms of, most of you aren't going to care what material it is, I guess, but I don't know for sure because I can't really get in there. But he does the splits pretty darn well, and then bringing the leg forward, because of the way they did the sockets, it comes off at an angle. And that's super annoying, and I can't figure out a way to get his leg to come forward. The way they did that joint is really irritating. Like, you'll be able to still rotate it at the thigh and pose him probably, but when you try to bring it in, there's something weird that they did, and I can't tell what it is without disassembling the figure. I don't care for that. The thigh swivel is at an angle, which is part of the problem. Like, there's too many angles going on that don't need to exist. There's no reason for that to be like that. That's not good design. That is... I've never even seen this company do that on any of their figures, and they chose to do it here for no real reason. Unless, did this guy have it? I don't think so. I guess it's at a slight angle, but not really. I mean, just kinda. Yeah, I don't like that. That's a big bummer. Don't care for that. Now, the knee does work nicely. You get a little panel that tucks in on the back of the boot, and so he gets really good rib bend, but you can really see how big his boots are compared to the rest of his body. Doesn't quite make sense, and I know Mega Man has big boots. X has big boots. This guy's better proportioned, I think, in terms of throughout the entire figure. This guy's lower legs they're humongous. He's way shorter than the other one, but his boots are actually taller. So, that's a thing. And then for the ankles, you have some hinges and some balls in there, or maybe just one hinge and two balls. But it works nicely. You get plenty of range out of it. You shouldn't have too much trouble posing it. It probably could work better, but it is pretty seamless when you close it up, so I'll give him a little bit of leeway there. If you want to get decent range, you can get it. It's probably not the best. And I'd say that's probably the case for all of his articulation, except for maybe the elbows. It's not the best, but for the price point, I think it's perfectly sufficient. And for most people, it should be fine. So I'll give his articulation an 8 out of 10. It's good, but I think they could have done a little bit better. But I am very satisfied with this figure overall. As I mentioned before, he's probably the one to go to right now. They've all been good, let me put it that way. The D-Arch one is really good, this one's really good. The 4-inch Nell, I keep saying 3, I don't know why. Because this guy's a 3-0. 4-inch Nell is a good figure, I'm sure the Jada one will be too. It really comes down to your preference and what you want to spend. If you're looking for, you don't really care preference-wise, then obviously go for this one. You can get it relatively easily. I mean, obviously it's in stock and it's relatively cheap. So I would go for this guy, but they're all good options. It really just comes down to what you want. So let me know in the comment section below which one you think is the best and which design is your favorite for X. But I'll recommend this guy. I'll give him an overall rating of... I'm going to go 9 out of 10. It's still pretty darn good for the money. An energy effect part, enough hands and faces to get the job done. It poses well enough. Yeah, I think you could do a whole lot worse for your money. But there's some room for improvement. So there it is. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, but I'm done. So thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please do give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. And if you haven't subscribed, you should. I have new videos just about every single day and thousands already on the channel. So make sure you come back for all of that. And in the meantime, keep collecting.